Hey guys, welcome to my vlog. So if you didn't watch my first video for some odd reason, you probably missed I'm Brianna. I'm studying abroad in Alnwick, England in spring 2017. I leave January 19th and I will be there until April 24th, so I'm super excited for this. This vlog is just going to be, when I get there, of course, it's going to be about my adventures, what I'm doing, how I'm doing in classes, how I'm doing traveling around, seeing different places and learning. However, this portion of this vlog is actually for a school assignment because college students do assignments, crazy enough as it sounds. So this is just a vlog that's going to be answering some questions that my teachers gave me. So I hope you enjoy and that maybe you learned something, maybe you don't, maybe it's just like, oh, she's talking again, haha. And if that's the case, I'm so sorry, and you don't actually have to watch this if you don't want to. So it's just going to talk about what I'm excited for, what I'm nervous for, and overall why I picked this program over others. So I hope you enjoy and that maybe you learned something. Okay, so the first question is, where am I going and why did I choose that place? So, I am going to Alnwick, England. I will be staying in the Harry Potter castle, so you can be jealous all you want. And the reason I picked Alnwick is actually kind of a funny story. So, like a lot of college students, I had to attend we call it advising and registration at my school. So I had to come in and meet with an advisor and talk about what classes I wanted to take for my first semester as a college student. And I'm not sure if this is the same at every other college, but at my college they had booths set up in the main room that we were in, and one of the booths was the study abroad booth. My school is really big into having us study abroad, which is really awesome. And so I was like, oh yeah, I would love to study abroad. However, I didn't think I would do it my first year. So I was like walking by and I had a name badge on and it said like my name, said Brianna. It said that I was in the honors program, and they stopped me. They're like, hey, are you looking at studying abroad at all? And I'm like, yeah, I would love to go to England, Australia, and Ireland. Sometime. It didn't have to be like right away, just sometime while I was at college. And they're like, oh hey, we see you're an honors student. Actually, the honors program is sending students this coming spring, so my second semester of my first year. And they're like, yeah, you just have to take this class, and they wrote it down on my paper. Just take this class and you'll be able to go to England. And it sounded so awesome, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll definitely do that. I called my mom right away after, or maybe I texted her. I don't remember now. I was in contact with my mom about it. I'm like, hey, Mom, I could go study abroad in England my first year. And she's like, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. And she was a really big support for it. But that's my funny, ironic story on why I chose England. The class I'm in actually is England and Ireland, or not Ireland. Getting my words mixed up. It's England and Australia, so I could have gone to Australia too, but I mean, how can you pick Australia over the Harry Potter castle for your first time studying abroad? So that's why I'm going to England. That's why I chose it, and I think I made a really good choice. I'm excited for it. Okay, what am I looking forward to? I personally am looking forward to the opportunity to travel around not only England itself, but for spring break I'm hoping to either do a European tour or do an Ireland tour. I'm working closely with my mom on that. She's a travel agent, and so she's helping me book out my path and where I'm going to go, not only for spring break but also when I decide to travel away from the castle. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is just being able to travel and explore a different country. I have a really hard time being in the United States and sitting here thinking, this is life. Like, this is my life. This is all my life is gonna be, which is why I really wanted to study abroad. I want to know what it's like to be in a different country and to have those experiences. And to do that, like, you have to go to different places. Also, I'm super excited. I know that I have some family genealogy in England, and I'm currently taking a genealogy class, which is kind of funny. So when I'm in England, I'm hoping to travel around to a few of those places and let you all know what I find out about what I find out with my genealogy, and of course become a complete and utter tourist and take pictures with everything. So that is the most exciting part for me. Okay, the third question is, what am I nervous about? So I thought long and hard on this question. Honestly, sitting here right now, I have so many things that I'm excited for and that I'm looking forward to that it was hard to kind of pinpoint what I'm nervous about, but I think I finally figured it out. I'm really nervous about wanting to do too many things and not having enough time or money. But on the flip side, I'm also really nervous about not having enough to do and not fully exploring my options while I'm over in England. So it definitely is going to come down to me just looking at all of the things that I can do and scheduling it out and figuring it out beforehand and doing a lot of research so that I know kind of what I want to do. But then also I do have to play in with the fact that I don't know if I'm going to be able to do some of the things. So then I have to not schedule my life so much and just go with the flow of what England brings at me. So that's probably what I'm most nervous about. Definitely. 100%. Okay, so the next question is issues I'm running into. So right now, the biggest issue I have is money. As a broke college student, I have exerted my bank account, I have loans. So my next step is scholarships all the way. And also, I have considered creating a GoFundMe to see if people will donate like $2 or $3 to help me get over to England and see different places and tell you about it. I mean, if I can't get the money, I can't tell you guys about it, which would be a shame. So definitely money right now. I'm sure when I get closer to going that my biggest issue is going to be packing, because I'm a female and we tend to have a problem packing for long amounts of time, even short amounts of time. So I know I'm gonna like stare at my suitcase for forever. But right now, definitely my biggest issue is money. Money and making sure that I don't like psych myself out too much about going over there, because as much as I'm excited, I'm also apprehensive. Like, I'm going to another country for a few months. So just keeping my nerves down, I think, is also my next biggest issue. Okay, the fifth and final question really that I was given to answer was my strengths. Now, that doesn't really sound like a question, but in my homework assignment, it is a question. It told me I need to explain what my strengths are, and to do that, I need to give you a little background on strengths. So, for my class, I had to take a quiz that is kind of like the Myers-Briggs quiz, if any of you have ever had to take that. If you haven't, I'll just explain. So this quiz gives you a little bit of a scenario. So it'll say something like, I like to spend time with people. And you had to pick if that was a lot like you, if it wasn't like you at all, and it only gave you 20 seconds to pick. So in the end, it gives you your top 5 strengths out of 30. And I'll just read off my strengths here. So my number 1 was input. My second one was futuristic. Third was intellection. Fourth was empathy. And fifth was belief. So to give just a little background on what I know about my strengths. So input is a way of saying that I like to collect information. So I like to read, I like to physically collect things, whether that be books, artifacts, pamphlets, anything with information that I can learn from. And I either physically store the items, like books, or I store away information in my brain. Futuristic, my second one, just means that I love thinking toward the future, which is pretty apparent in my life, and I will explain more on that later. My number 3 is intellection, which just means that I'm constantly thinking. So my mind is running at 1,000,000 miles per minute, and as I'm sure you'll see later in these videos, or in my previous video, I kind of just go off on rabbit trails sometimes because I'll be thinking and I'll be talking about something and then, oh hey, like this reminded me of this, and then I go off on a little story. So it's just because my mind is always thinking. Number 4 is empathy. I hope I don't have to explain that one too much. It's just, I can take on the feelings of other people even without being in the same situations that they are. And finally, 5th is belief. It just means that I know what I believe in my life, and I'm not going to let anyone change that. So I guess that's a good thing. Maybe others would see that it's not a good thing. I don't know. I think it's a good thing. So anyway, I will go through and just explain briefly how I feel each of my 5 strengths will help me as I travel. So input. Collecting information, I feel like that is going to help me a ton being in England, or anywhere for that matter. I want to learn. I want to learn, and I want to put that information away and just make it an educational trip. I want it to be kind of like a vacation just a little bit, but I also know I'm going to learn. And if I was just going over there for a vacation, I would learn, because my number 1 strength is input. Like, I just take in information. My second strength, futuristic. Currently, all I can think about is studying abroad. So that just shows my futuristic aspect. I am paying attention to my classes, and I'm paying attention to things that are going around now, but I'm constantly thinking of, like, I'm going to get to studying abroad in England because of X, Y, and Z. And so I know in England, I'm definitely going to start thinking, like, how am I going to use this experience later on in life? When I go back to the United States, how is this going to change me? And I hope that it helps me in coping with culture shock when I get back, but I guess I won't really know until I get back. All I can think of is, if this happens, then when I get back, this will happen. So futuristic will help a little bit, but I can't say exactly how much. Let's see, what was my next one? Intellection, constantly thinking. To be honest, I never thought that constantly thinking was a strength. But, I guess it is. So, the only way that I can think intellection will really help me is that I will constantly be aware of my surroundings. So, hopefully that'll keep me safe while I'm abroad, and hopefully it'll also help me learn more and play in with my input strength. Empathy. All I can think about with empathy is that with my peers who are coming with me, if they are feeling homesick, or if something happens while we're abroad, if one of them gets hurt, or I don't know, those are worst case scenarios, I guess. If when I'm abroad, one of my peers is feeling a certain way and they need help, that's usually when empathy gets put into play. So if they're homesick, like, I'll be able to put myself in their shoes and possibly help them. In reverse, I hope that with dealing with the English, I think that's what they're called, dealing with people who live in England, if they are, feeling a certain way toward the United States for some reason, I will be able to put myself in their shoes and explain to them, or have a conversation with them, that will maybe hopefully change their minds and view of the United States. But again, I don't know how that one's really going to work out while I'm there. And finally, belief. So I have very strong beliefs. I am a Christian, so I'll just put that out there. And going to a different country, you know, there's so many different religions, there's so many different views. So I know that in England, the legal age for drinking is lower, and my beliefs will come into play definitely, and my strong beliefs will just help me make decisions that I think are ethically correct so that I don't get into trouble and so that I can be strong in who I am and what I believe. So those are my strengths. Those are hopefully how they're going to help me, and who knows, when I get over there, I might realize, like, hey, you know, intellection helps in this way or this way. So I guess only time will tell. And when I travel, I'll learn a lot more about myself. So I'm banking on that. I'm hoping that that's the case. But in any ways, those are all the questions that I had for my assignment. I'm pretty sure I will look to make sure that I am correct on that, because I wouldn't want to get a bad grade. Yep, that looks like all it is. So just as a few closing remarks, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. And if you are only my teachers watching this, I hope you enjoyed it. I will end with saying just a little more information. So I've had some friends and family ask me, you know, why did I decide to vlog? And I'm simply going to say that by, instead of blogging, where you just sit down and you write and you can add in pictures, I figured vlogging would be not only a new experience for me, I have to create videos and put them out on the web, which is just like crazy to me, but it also allows me the opportunity to be myself and let that shine through, which is why these videos, I hope, show just how eccentric I am at times and show my true personality. So that's why, if you ever had a question or if you wanted to know why, that is why I decided to vlog. But anyway, I'm going to go. I hope not to be making another video until I get ready to go, so maybe like a few days before I leave, or when I get there will be my next video. So until then, January 19th, I hope that you all do wonderfully in whatever you're doing in your life, and I will see you then.